My friends, it is a barbaric and ruthless soul that looks at some human beings and says, they're not persons. If I looked at you and said, I believe that black people are only 2/3 of a person, you would call me a monster, and you should. Because it's a violation of basic human rights and human decency that would say this person, because of something about the way they look, is less than a full human being and they're not a person. We would say that individual is made in the imago Dei. Shame on you. Shame on you. And yet we look at someone because of their size or their placement inside of a womb and say, this individual, this human being, you cut them, they bleed. You take a DNA test, it doesn't come back as a puppy dog. But as a human, this human is not a person. That's revolting. Dylan Roof walked into an African-American church, Mother Emanuel, and shot it up, murdering them as though they were animals, because in his mind, those of a darker melanin count weren't persons. Hitler killed the Jews because in his mindset, they weren't persons. And we justify abortion because we look at an infant and say, they don't qualify as a person. We are monsters. There's no excuse for it whatsoever. When people ask when life begins, they're not asking a scientific question because the answer is indisputable scientifically. What they're asking is this: how big does a person have to be before it's wrong to murder them? That's the question that's being asked. How big does that person need to be before it's wrong to take their life? We live in a day and time that most of the world knows discrimination is wrong. We know it's wrong to discriminate against someone because of the color of their skin. We know it's wrong to discriminate someone because they're a different gender. We know it's wrong to discriminate against someone because of they have different abilities or are differently abled. We know it's wrong to discriminate against those from different places. We know it's wrong to discriminate against the fat or against the skinny or against the black or against the white. We know it's wrong to discriminate against the foreigner or against the challenged or against the elderly. And we know it's wrong to bully. Heaven forbid anyone gets bullied, with one exception. Societally, the morally confused believe it's not wrong to snuff out the life of a human being because they happen to be small, because they're little. It is bullying to the highest level. It is age discrimination of the highest order. The excuse is nothing but, quote, the mother is bigger than the child, and so she can dominate the child to the point of death. Abortion is the worst example of bigotry and irrational discrimination and hatred based upon the superficiality of mankind that the world has ever known. I never thought that I would quote Dr. Seuss in a sermon, but here goes. Quote, I'll just have to save him because, after all, a person's a person no matter how small. If Dr. Seuss can know it, what's wrong with us? A person's a person no matter how small. There simply can be no rational argument to be made on any bioethical level that there is any justification for taking the life of an infant based upon the fact that they're in the womb or out of the womb. As though a few inches makes a difference